Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another DIY McGee&co dupe video. You guys know I love making these for you, and I love McGee&co's style. I love Studio McGee and all the things that they designed, but it is a little out of my budget, and I don't believe that just because you can't afford it or it's not in the budget doesn't mean that you can't get that look for less. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that today. If you're new here, I'm Noelle. Welcome. I make new videos like this every single week on home decor, DIY home decor, and making your home look high-end on a budget. So if you like that, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So for this first piece, one of you guys actually messaged me over on Instagram and asked me for ideas on how to get this look for less and how to DIY it. So I decided to go ahead and make it so that I could give recommendations on that. So if you guys ever are wanting me to make a piece or try to DIY something, feel free to comment in the comments below or send me a message over on Instagram and I will gladly try to DIY that piece for you. So this piece is the McGee&co paper mache vase. And this is such a beautiful piece. I think it adds so much warmth and texture to a space. It gives that really cozy lived-in feel and a little bit of vintage. And I love that look so much for my own home. So I was really excited whenever she wanted me to DIY this piece. And the large version is ringing out for $170. And then they have a smaller version for $128. So I'm going to be going for the larger scale vase, just because I really like the shape of it. So we are going to do that now. For this project, you'll need wax paper, hot water, a measuring cup, black tea, paper mache, a bowl for mixing, 2 large planter pots, and coconut oil. I'm going to start by adding 12 cups of the paper mache to my bowl, which is just half of this bag. And you'll have to make multiple batches, and we'll need 1.5 bags of paper mache for this whole project. Next, I'm pouring 3 cups of hot water into my measuring cup and adding 1 black tea bag. The tea is going to give the paper mache a warmer tone so that it's not such a stark white. Once that's steeped for about 5 minutes, we can go ahead and mix it into the paper mache. And I'm just adding a little bit at a time and mixing it in. So for my first attempt at building this, I drew out a 12-inch circle on some wax paper and used it as a template and began to make a circle with the paper mache. And I soon realized that this was not going to stay up like Google said it would. So after some brainstorming and shopping, I found these planter pots that were 12 inches in diameter and 10 inches in height and thought they would be really great for this project. If you watch my paper mache bowl video, then you know I struggled to get the bowl off the mold. So to help prevent that from happening again, I'm rubbing the coconut oil all over the pot. And you can use any kind of oil. I just liked using the coconut oil because it's solid, so I knew it wouldn't run all over the place. Next, I'm taking some of the paper mache and flattening it out, and then I'm pressing it onto the pot. And I really like to work in big pieces like this because you don't have to blend so many little pieces together, and it just gives it more of a seamless look. To spread the piece out, I'm just pressing it down to thin it out and then rubbing over the seam to blend the pieces together. And I'm taking the paper mache down just above the lip of the pot so that it'll be easier to remove later. Once the pot is completely covered, I'm rubbing all over again to smooth it all out and make it all blend together. And this is going to be the bottom half of the pot, so to make the feet, I'm just rolling out some of this paper mache into a ball and then pressing on all of the sides to get a more square shape. And I'm going to be making 4 of these little feet. To attach the feet to the pot, I'm taking this screwdriver and just using it as a tool to scrape some of the paper mache from the foot and press it into the paper mache on the pot. And then I'm going to go in and smooth it out. I wasn't liking how the feet were looking, so I took them off and placed them around the edges a little bit more and then attached them to the pot. And then I give them a more tapered look by pinching them a little bit at the tops and making the sides a little more slanted. And that finishes off the bottom half of this vase. So next I'm covering the other pot in oil again. And then I'm applying the paper mache all over it. And since this will be the top of the vase, I'm leaving it open at the top and lining up the paper mache with this little circle that is around the top of this pot. To make the rim of the vase opening, I'm going to take some paper mache and I'm placing it around the opening. And making it the same height all around. Next, I'm smoothing it out and blending it in with the pot and smoothing out the inside as well. Now these need to dry for a couple of days. Once the outside is dry, we need to remove them from the mold. So I'm using a butter knife to just loosen them up around the edges, and then I'm carefully going to pull this right out. The drainage part of the pot didn't come out, so I just pushed it out from the top, and I did the same thing with the other pot too. Now we'll let the inside dry for another day. Now that the paper mache is completely dry, it's time to put these pieces together. To keep the pieces together and where I want them to be, I'm adding a little hot glue to a few spots around the vase. Next, to fill in the gaps, I mixed up some more paper mache, and I've never tried to add paper mache over dried paper mache, but this actually worked out really well. So I'm going around the whole vase and filling in any of the spaces that are between the two pots and making them smooth to look like one cohesive vase. And whenever I was trying to blend the new paper mache into the dry part, I found that pressing and patting worked a lot better than rubbing, because rubbing just rubbed the new paper mache off the pot. Then I left that to dry, and it only took about a day. Since I used multiple batches of paper mache to make this, there were some spots that were just a little bit lighter. So to fix that, I'm mixing up some more of the tea and brushing that onto the lighter spots. And I'm also brushing some around the middle section of the vase just to give it a little more definition and dimension. Once that was dry, I took a fine grit sanding block and sanded down some of the spots that didn't get blended out as well as I wanted. Next, I wanted to give this a found and aged look, so I got some dirt from my yard and I'm just rubbing this all over the vase. And I didn't add any water to it to make it like a muddy texture because I wanted it to be very subtle and not too intense. And I really love the look that just the dirt gave it. Then I went in with a dry brush and dusted off any excess dirt, and that finishes off this paper mache vase. The second piece I'm going to be DIYing is the McGee&co scratch vase, and I've been wanting to make this piece for so long now. I've been trying to find the perfect materials to be able to recreate this, and I think that it is so beautiful. It's so versatile. You can use it in so many different ways. You can fill it or leave it empty as a sculptural piece, so I just had to make this piece. So let's jump into this DIY. To make this scratch vase, you'll need 3 plastic serving bowls, E6000 glue, paintable caulk, white spray paint, clear gloss spray paint, baking powder and baking soda, black and white acrylic paint, and a cheap chip brush. To start, I'm taking a utility knife and scoring a circle around the bottom of 2 of the plastic bowls. And then I'm going in with a large drill bit and drilling a hole in the middle of the bowls. And this is going to give us a starting point to cut out a circle with some multi-purpose scissors. I'm cutting triangle sections around the inside of the circle to keep the plastic bowl from breaking outside of the scored circle when I cut around it. Once I've got the circles cut out of the 2 bowls, I'm going in with a 60 grit sanding block to smooth out any sharp edges that were left. Next, I'm taking one of the bowls with a hole cut out and spraying it with this white spray paint, and my camera did not record this for some reason, but I did spray paint it. And then once that's dried, I'm placing the bowl without a hole right side up and applying some E6000 glue around the rim. And then I'm placing the bowl with a hole that we didn't paint upside down on that bowl. And I'm just cleaning up the glue that spilled out the sides with a glove. Next, I'm applying some more glue to the top of that and placing the bowl that we painted white inside on top of that one. And I ended up placing some heavy books on top while it dried to keep the bowls really tight together. Once that glue dried, I went in with this paintable caulk around where the bottom 2 bowls connect, and this is going to hide that seam a little bit and also seal it so that if you want to put water in the bottom of this vase and put florals in it, you can, and you don't have to worry about the water leaking out or anything. And I'm just wiping off the excess with my finger. Next, I'm caulking between the top and the middle bowl, and this is just going to give the vase a more seamless look. Once the caulk has fully dried, I'm mixing up this black paint with a little bit of white paint to make a darker gray color. And then I'm adding in some baking soda for texture, and baking powder for thickness. And once that's all mixed up, I'm applying it to the vase with this chip brush and applying it from side to side all over the vase. The texture in the paint and the chip brush are going to create horizontal lines on the vase and give it the same texture as the scratch vase. I'm also going in with a small brush to clean up the edges around the rim of the vase. Once that coat has dried down a little bit, I'm going to go in with a second coat, starting with the top bowl, and I'm going to be painting in a diagonal direction with the high point going towards the right. Then on the middle bowl, I'm painting diagonally with the high point towards the left. And for the bottom bowl, I'm painting with the high point towards the right again. This creates the same look that the scratch vase has and gives it more of visual interest. Once that dries, I'm flipping over the bowl so that I can give the bottom a good coat of paint as well. And then to finish off this piece, I'm sealing it with this clear gloss spray paint so that the water won't dissolve the acrylic paint at all and it'll be able to stand the test of time. And that finishes off the scratch vase dupe. Alrighty guys, that finishes off our McGee&co dupe video for today. I really hope that you enjoyed these pieces. I am so happy with how they turned out and I'm really excited to have them in my home. I will make sure to link all of the original items below in the description box so that you guys can check those out or purchase them if you want to, if you don't want to make them. And I'll link all of the materials that I used for the projects as well so that you can get your hands on them to recreate them if you want to. And make sure that you guys leave me a comment below with which item was your favorite or any suggestions for other DIY projects that you would like me to create, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.